Hi, my name is Dr. Lema Neema. I'm a pediatrician by profession. I run my clinics at Medicross.
Mothers, we all know that breast milk protects your baby from infections and diseases. Well, that's great, but that's not enough. You need to vaccinate your child against diseases that are vaccine preventable, and they include measles, tetanus, whooping cough, poliomyelitis, tuberculosis, hepatitis B, Haemophilus influenza, yellow fever, rotavirus, and the flu.
Immunization is a process of making someone immune against a certain diseases, and that process is called vaccination. So what usually happens, you vaccinate someone to make them immune, and then that is called immunization. So when you vaccinate someone, you'll say that someone is immune to that strain, to that virus, and that person has been immunized. So breastfeeding is one of the natural way of protecting your baby against different diseases, because one of the advantages of breastfeeding is actually giving the baby immunoglobulins, which are antibodies that they pass from the mothers through the breast milk. But then this protection will not last for a lifetime. That's why you must augment the protection with different vaccinations at different times during this child's life. So we have a number of vaccines that a child is to receive during, usually most of the vaccines are given during the first year of life, according to our guideline, according to the way we give vaccines here in Kenya. So most of the vaccines are given in the first year of life, and this is usually just due to mainly two things. Number one is that how ready the immunity of the baby is to respond against the vaccine, and the second thing is the risk that they are usually posed at. So a baby is born, is the risk of certain diseases the same throughout their life? The answer is no, because some diseases, like a baby, has to go out for them. So giving the vaccines very early maybe might not really make sense. So that's how usually they come up with the vaccines. But I think the biggest thing is how the immunity of this baby is able to respond once they are given up a certain vaccination. Usually at birth, you receive 3 vaccines. You receive the first oral polio, and then you get the BCG. BCG is for TB. It protects you against the severe form of TB. And then you get the hepatitis B. So you need to get these 3 vaccines at birth. Polio is oral, and then hepatitis B and BCG are jabs. You get intramuscular injections. And then after 6 weeks, a baby comes again, and then they are given another polio, oral poliomyelitis, and then they are given what we call pentavalent, which is a combination of 5 vaccines in one. So you only get 1 jab, but actually you are receiving protection against 5 diseases, and these are diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, Haemophilus influenza. Haemophilus influenza is quite catastrophic, especially when it comes to things like meningitis. It's a very bad disease. And then also they also get hepatitis B in the penta, and then also they get the oral polio again, and then they get the ROTA, the vaccine against rotavirus. Yes, which is also one of the worst diseases when it comes to gastroenteritis, the diarrhea and vomiting in children. At 10 weeks, you repeat the same vaccines you're given at 6 weeks. You repeat the same vaccines at 10 weeks, and this is just to augment the immunity. We are trying to make the immunity to respond as much as possible. And then at 14 weeks, you're given the same also, but this time instead of giving oral polio, we give the injectable polio. The advantage of injectable polio is that the immune response is much more stronger compared to the oral polio. Okay, so you do that at 6, at 10, and then at 14 weeks. Then after that, you're given at 9 months, you get the measles the measles vaccines. That's according to our national guideline, the KP guideline. Yeah, but I know there are so many other schedules depending on whether you're going to be receiving baby-friendly vaccines or you're going to stick to the government. So some will also get other vaccines during the 6 months, the 10th month, and also, but really this depends with the types of vaccines, mainly the baby-friendly. But when it comes to the national guidelines, that's what we give our children. We are proud with what the Ministry of Health has done through the program, the immunization program. The vaccines are available in all public facilities. So from the hospitals to the health centers and also to the private clinics that are licensed. That means they have fulfilled what is required for them to get the vaccines. These vaccines are available, and it's in all public hospitals. It's free of charge. So it's just a matter of a mother knowing that my baby needs to go to get vaccinated and taking the baby for vaccination. I know a lot of things are being said, but according to science, all of those things, as you say, they are controversies, and there is no truth in them. There is absolutely no truth in them. If you miss an oral polio vaccine and you get a polio virus and you get paralyzed for the rest of your life, you would wish you actually went to receive the 2 drops. So I think whatever people are talking about the vaccines is it averts up to 200 to 300 million deaths. Vaccination averts all those deaths, and this is not by chance. This has been proven to work. So I think what I can say is it's a responsibility of every parent to ensure that their child is immunized. You see, when I immunize my son and my neighbor has not immunized their son, still my son is at risk despite him receiving the vaccines. Why? There's something we call community immunity, and this comes by when every one of us is immunized. As a community, we are protected, and that means we'll not have all these types of outbreaks coming up. But if we are 5 in our community, 3 opts to get vaccinated and 2 say no, the vaccines have side effects and all that, these 2 are putting the 3 at risk. So I think it's up to us to take this responsibility that each one of our children gets immunized, and that's the only way we are going to control outbreaks and all these disadvantages and sometimes deaths that come from getting outbreaks. So what I can say is vaccines do work. People have lived because vaccines do work. We have things like meningitis. I think unless you've been affected by meningitis, you'll not really understand. But you'll have a child, they'll have beautiful life. Just when they get meningitis from Haemophilus influenza, something that is preventable, one of the complications of this disease is actually deafness, blindness, and then loss of cognitive function. These children will never be able to go to school like a normal child. You've completely ruined the life of this child. Completely. Well, you could have just taken your child for immunization and all of this could be prevented. So what I can say is this: it's true, vaccines work, but again, we need herd immunity, we need community immunity. If one says yes and the other one says no, you're still jeopardizing the work that is being done by all this community. So I think let's hold our hands together and make sure that we make sure all our children are immunized and their vaccination is up to date.
Get your child vaccinated against these diseases that can be very serious and may require hospitalization or even be deadly.